Hello and welcome back to another Ableton Live tutorial video. My name is Don Phillip and today is an exciting day and we have some exciting stuff to go through. It's also an exciting day because we have Nikhil Bijay with us.
Hey guys.
Nikhil is resident producer and trainer at DJP Media. We also have Kat with us in the background. So, Nikhil, why is this video exciting? Why are we excited today?
We are excited for Live 10.1. It's out for public beta.
Yes, the 10.1 beta is out. Now it's out for public beta, which means you can go on and sign up for the public beta. There's a link in the description below. Okay, you can follow that link, fill in the form, and get on the public beta yourself. Now, for this video, we're not going to be going through every feature in 10.1, but what we will be doing is we'll be covering some of the things that we find fun to work with, and we'll be going through those things. Now, if you do want to watch, videos on, all the features in 10.1, there's some great videos out there by, guys like, Warp Academy, ADSR,
Slink.
and Slink, right? There's a lot of great videos out there. So if you want to watch all the features, make sure to go, watch those videos. There's a lot of cool stuff. So we're going to get straight into 10.1 and talk about what we like. So what's the first new feature, Nikhil?
The user wavetables on the
Yes,
wavetable.
the user wavetable. So when Wavetable came out on version 10, everyone was really excited, and it's a great instrument, a lot of fun. But everyone was like, Ableton, when can we put in our own samples, our own custom wavetables? When can we use that? And Ableton answered everyone's questions in 10.1. So now we can actually load in our own custom tables. We can load in our own custom sounds into Wavetable and start messing around with them. So let's get through that over here. So let me go ahead and open a MIDI track. Let's get Wavetable. Now I've downloaded a sample. I just recorded part of a documentary on YouTube. Let's see what that sounds like.
There is no question of a last chance, Gandhiji told the press. This is open rebellion of a non-violent character.
Rebellion.
Rebellion, yes. All right, so that's the sample that we got. So I'm going to just take the sample, I'm going to drag it and drop it straight into my wavetable. And boom. As you can see, my sample is in Wavetable, and now I can play around with it. So let's see what that sounds like. And I can actually move the position. That's pretty cool. You get that vocal, the tonal quality straight into your, your synth. So what I like to do now is I like going ahead and mapping my position to my LFO1. So I can do that through my matrix, right? Let's change my LFO to sync and tempo. Let's bring down that rate. Let's see what we got.
Whoa.
Ooh, it's too fast.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhi told the press.
Oh yeah, that's pretty smooth.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And I can also use, my second oscillator, add some, sine wave goodness to that low end.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhi told the press.
Very drony.
Yeah, really cool sound, right? And the reason why I like this is because if I were to do this before, I would have to load in a vocoder,
Chain of effects.
yeah, chain of effects, use some modulation effects, and it was a whole thing. But now I can get that same kind of tonality, and with a lot of options. I have options to envelopes, to LFOs, the matrix, the whole filter section. It's really cool, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So let's put this down. So I have a drum kit laid out over here. So what I'm going to do is just lay out a portion of Wavetable and see how that sounds.
There's no question. There's no question. There's no question.
All right, so let's see how that sounds with the drum kit.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhi told the press.
All right, sounds pretty cool
Yeah.
and drony. So the next thing I always like to do is, why not resample this, right? And eventually get this into simpler. So I'm just going to set this up. Let me go ahead and take the audio from Wavetable. right? And record that in.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhiji told the press.
All right. And let's get a simpler in here. Let's drag this into simpler. And
We're gonna slice it up.
that's right. So I'm going to switch from classic to slice. I'm not going to mess with the actual slices. I'm going to stick to transient and, see what sounds I get out of this. So let's see what we got.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhi.
Okay. Let's see what we can do.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhiji told the
All right.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and, capture this. And let's see if that looks good. Yeah, I'll just quantize it quickly. And let's see what that sounds like. It's a pretty cool sound, right? It's always fun sampling your sounds out. Especially, since we got this really cool sound with Wavetable and, the vocals working together. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so now that we have this interesting sampled pattern put down, what we can do next is start playing around with effects. So 10.1 has 2 new effects devices. What are those devices? What's the first one?
The first one is channel EQ.
Channel EQ, yes. So on Wavetable, I'm going to go ahead and load up channel EQ. So channel EQ is a very straightforward EQ that gives us a great visual display. It's very musical and pretty straightforward and easy to use. It's not a very harsh EQ, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a couple of minor changes. Right? Let's see how that sounds.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhiji told the press.
Right? Pretty straightforward. It's a great EQ. Nice to have a simple EQ that we can just get into apart from, EQ3 that has some kind of visual representation on it. All right, now for our second effect. So the second effect in Ableton 10.1, in Ableton Live 10.1, what do we have, Nikhil?
We have the delay effect.
We have the delay effect. So let's look over here. We have delay.
So basically, it's a combination of 2 older effects, simple delay and the ping pong delay.
Yes, so now we no longer have simple delay and ping pong delay. If you notice in our audio effects, we don't have simple delay and ping pong, we just have delay. Now, this is really, cool because we have both of them in one. We can access both those devices.
And the modes.
And the modes, yes. So before you would have to actually right click on the device and choose your mode, whereas now the modes are right there in the device and you can see them over here: repitch, fade, and jump. And it's great because honestly before, a lot of people never knew that those modes actually existed. So it's great that it's right there up front and people can access it straight out. So let's look at what we can do over here. So I'm just going to make some minor changes and let's see what our sound sounds like.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhiji told the
Right, you can get some interesting sounds. So the next thing we always like to do after we have loaded some effects is add in some automation. So what is new to automation in 10.1?
So automation gets a whole lot easier because now instead of drawing out whole shapes, we can just simply choose a preset of a shape and just load it onto the...
That's right. So before, if you wanted to get any smooth shapes, you would have to, automate using, an external device or a MIDI controller or something.
Or draw it out. And, if you want to draw out a curve, you would end up having, 1,000,001 automation points. But the great thing now is I can actually load in
a predefined shape, so I can actually insert a sine wave. And even on that sine wave, I have these automation handles, these transform handles that I can actually transform, my automation with. So right now I've just changed my, my time of my, my sync rate. I've changed it from tempo sync to time. And let's see what happens when I did this.
There's no question of a last chance, Gandhi, you told the
That's pretty cool, right? Because since repitch is on there, so every time the time is changing, you hear this, slight, pitch warping that's going on. And, it's a really fun thing to work with. So this can open up a lot of possibilities in terms of how you automate your devices. It's going to make things a lot faster in terms of workflow. And that's always exciting for all of us. So these are a couple of things that we find really interesting to work with. Again, there are a lot more features in 10.1. There's a lot more you can go through. Make sure to sign up for the beta. The public beta is open, so you can go to the link in the description, fill in the form, and you can get on the public beta yourself. Now, like I said before, there's a lot more features. Make sure to follow, videos that other guys are making. Again, like Warp Academy, Slink, and ADSR, plus many more. You can follow those guys, and there's some really good videos out there. If you have any questions on some of the things that we did, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and if you loved it, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.